Why do you think that some women get to live their best life while other women settle for mediocrity? Do you think this is all based because of luck? Or could it be that these women who achieve success manage to get their hands on some form of secret formula? I'm sure you all have been scrolling on social media, on Instagram, and just looking at all these influencers and other famous women for inspiration. And at some point you probably even asked yourself, how come all these women get to live these beautiful lives, these lavish lives? They are all the time traveling and always in first class to these luxurious destinations, and they all seem so affluent. Of course, they also have affluent partners, and yeah, their life just seems so perfect. On top of it, these women look also so incredibly confident and poised all the time, perfectly put together in every single shot or video. When we see these women, we think that, okay, she must have made it. Everything about these women's lives is just so perfect. Now ladies, I think we all know that nothing in this life is perfect, and I actually don't think that we should strive to achieve perfection, because then we end up just becoming perfectionists, and we don't want to be that, right? But you sure can achieve a life on this level, because you can actually have all these experiences that these women have. You can have the comfort, you can have the affluent abundance in your life. All of those things are very real and also very attainable. And the same goes for their physical appearance. You can have the same transformation. Anybody can look like that. Anybody can transform their looks, their demeanor, their confidence. It's all about just getting it done and just knowing where to go, what to do, and just having the entire roadmap of the necessary steps. So have you ever asked yourself, while you are here scrolling on Instagram, looking at these women, what if you could do that too? But I want to ask you though, if you ever wanted to kind of become that person, what made you actually stop from pursuing that life? I'm really curious what your blockages are, because I know that there can be all kinds of reasons. Maybe you have people in your life who told you not to dream so big because you're just going to get disappointed. Or maybe you think that, you know what, this life is not possible for somebody like me. You need to be somebody like her in order to achieve that. Or maybe you think that if you even try, you're just going to fail. Now there might be all kinds of reasons to why you are not where you want to be right now. But let me tell you one thing, is that all these opportunities, they're still out there. And you know what? They're going to still be out there whether you grab them or not. So you see, you could actually just grab them and live the life of your dreams and accomplish whatever goal you have and live the life you always wanted to live. Maybe your goal is to marry a high caliber man, or maybe you have a goal that you want to improve your current relationship. Others might think that they want to improve their career, or this is more of a personal transformation for them. I know that a lot of women feel like they want to be more empowered. They want to become more confident, maybe set better boundaries, and just be able to walk into any room vibrating of confidence. Now, when it comes to these goals, I really believe in that the sky is not the limit, because in universe, there are no limits. So for this reason, anything is possible. Now that has been my mantra since I was very young, and now I want to welcome you to my workshop series called Upgrade Your Life in 2021 Workshop. Today is part 1 and we have 3 more to go. So let me therefore introduce myself. My name is Anna and I am the founder of School of Affluence. This is the only online finishing school in the world where I show you exactly how you can transform yourself and your life to the level of the elite. Now today I have something very special for you, and something totally different from the usual videos that I have previously shared with you on my YouTube channel. In this mini-series, I'm going to teach you the most important tools that will get you a guaranteed transformation, even if you just follow this simple framework that I will be teaching to you in this mini-series. Because they are actually the stepping stones for this entire transformation, and I think that if you skip these parts, you are going to plateau also for sure before you even achieve your goals. And I know this, ladies, because I have done this transformation myself. I have also about 15 years of research on high status women and how to do a transformation, exactly the same transformation that I'm teaching to you right now. But of course, the only way for me to test my own research is to apply it in my own life, which is what I've done over many, many years. So now I really know what works and what doesn't, and what the common obstacles are, where many times women end up shooting themselves in the foot. One thing that I need to address before we begin is that to upgrade in life and become that high caliber woman, you actually don't have to be single or go hunt for a rich man who's going to solve all your problems. You also don't have to have any particular background or be from a particular race or religion. You can set your own goals and decide exactly what you want to get out of life and just go and get it. Because in my community, ladies, we are a community of doers, and I think that's what makes us achieve success. Because us ladies, we know that there is much more in life than just settle for mediocrity. And we also know that if she can do it, I can do it. Some women also think that in order to become this woman who lives her best life, you have to be a supermodel, or at least look like a supermodel. You have to have size 0 and you have to have really, really long legs. But actually, if you take a step into the affluent community where many high status women are, you're going to see that actually these women, they come in all shapes, sizes and forms. There is this stereotype as well, actually, it goes a bit hand in hand with what I just said, is that if you want to have a high caliber man, an affluent man, then the only way to get such man is if you really look like a supermodel. You can absolutely achieve success, you can absolutely marry yourself into wealth or achieve other goals without being kind of the stereotype of beauty. I'm not going to say though that beauty doesn't matter, because it still matters, and we are also going to talk about that, but it's not the most crucial thing. Plus, there's a lot you can actually do with your looks to make yourself look your best, and that's always going to be enough. I am here to help you so you can upgrade in whatever way you decide for yourself, and I'm here to support you in all your goals, because those goals might be very individual. We don't have all the same goals, but you can still use the same framework and apply it on all of your goals, because the ultimate goal is to upgrade, and that's what this framework is going to help you do. There will be, of course, people, let's call them the naysayers, who will think that, oh, this transformation, oh, this elegance, why are you doing that? And maybe they start kind of maybe laugh at you or think that you are being silly. And the thing is that, yes, you're going to have a lot of people in your life who do not understand what you're doing and why. But I don't want that to stop you from going after what you want, having the results that you feel like you deserve to have. The good thing though about this community and all of you ladies who are taking this workshop is that you are actually going to have each other. Yes, we are a community after all, and we support each other. We share our own experiences, and this way we also can connect with each other. So if somebody doesn't agree with you, you know what, who cares? Here you have women who actually are on the same level. We're all in the same boat, and we're not judging each other. We are just here because we all have the same goal, to improve ourselves and to become better. So you don't need to have people approve of your choices if you don't currently have it. You can approve yourself. You can empower yourself to feel like, you know what, I'm going to do exactly what I want to do, what feels right for me. Because ultimately, what's most important is your own validation. I don't think you can afford to put your life on hold just because some people feel uncomfortable around what you do. So when I was 19, I decided to leave Sweden and move abroad. And that was actually the first kind of official big step to the life that I live today. And when I told my family that I was going to leave and also leave country all by myself at 19 years old, everybody thought that I was crazy. And of course, my parents were furious. When I also said this to some of my friends, they thought that I was really kind of irresponsible and that I was kind of setting myself up for failure. You know, I still sit and think sometimes, what if I wouldn't have gone? What if I would have just stayed and lived my life the same way it always was? Where would I have been today? And I am really scared to think that thought truly in my core, because that I know that it could have been so easy to just listen to all those voices around me and ignore my own voice. But I didn't do that. I actually decided I am going to do what I feel is right for me. So I did it. And I think that if I never have gone, I would not have been in the position where I am today. So I wouldn't be sitting here, I wouldn't be talking to you most likely, if I didn't go back then. Because that was the beginning to my research, to my transformation, and everything that I teach today. So if I can give you one piece of advice, is that do not listen to these people who anyway are not walking in your shoes. You do you, and others can do themselves. You might not have the connections, you might not have people in your life who have walked that journey and can tell you exactly how it was. I did not have somebody, let me tell you. I started from zero, and I had to figure things out for many, many years, and yeah, it took a long time as a result for me to have a transformation. But you are in a different boat today because you have me who are here guiding you forward. And this is why I want to give you this mini series, because I'm going to help you reduce some of that overwhelm that you might have when you kind of just look at your goal and it's this big, big, big goal and you have no idea how to get there. We are going to talk about how to strategize. We are going to talk about the framework, because of course the framework is necessary and it covers all the individual steps that you need to take in order to have success. Now ladies, I have studied the secrets of the successes of all these elegant, high caliber women for over a decade. And in the past few years, I've also been sharing my knowledge about living elegantly and rubbing shoulders with the elite on my YouTube channel and on my social media platforms. And ladies, as a result, I've been able to directly help tens of thousands of women improve their lives, their confidence, and of course their appearance. So with my work, I have developed this framework that I keep talking about, which is based on modern elegance, because I noticed that many women who were trying to improve themselves and their lives, they got sidetracked in this transformation. So there was a student of mine who was just starting out, and she thought that she had to go out and spend thousands of dollars on creating a new wardrobe if she would ever feel comfortable in higher social circles. I don't believe in spending all this money. I believe in being clever in how you invest in yourself. And I also believe that it's really important to invest in confidence and develop confidence, and only use kind of the clothing stuff as a tool. Everything that I teach is something that I have personally gone through myself. I have been stuck multiple times, but I always managed to kind of get out of that rut and be proactive. The life that I live today is incredibly different from the life that I was born into. I mean, I've been very open about my humble beginnings and growing up in the suburbs outside of Stockholm in a very regular working class family. Most of my days were also spent at the farm next to the house where we lived on the countryside. And when I was in that suburb, you know, during those years, I really was thinking about one day getting myself out of that, because I just couldn't connect with that life, and I didn't want to forever kind of be there, you know. I saw some people who were older than me, and what they did was that they settled for a mediocre life. I don't know, working in the local supermarket and drinking beers on the weekends. And I just felt that that's not who I wanted to be. And I knew that there must be a different life than just kind of the card that I was dealt with, right? Now ladies, we need to understand what those 3 secrets are to why some women get to live their best life while other women settle for mediocrity. Point number 1. Guess what happens when you think that you cannot become this or you cannot become that because of this or that reason? Well, when you believe that you can't, then you don't. When I was young, I always wanted to be a writer. And my mom, she told me that you cannot be a writer because it's not a real job. Writers never make any money, and you need to be able to sustain in life. Get a real job, like become a lawyer or something like that. But I kind of felt like, you know what, I don't like that. I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to write. I'm passionate about writing, being creative, getting my thoughts out there. And she really discouraged me. So I actually never ever pursued writing as a profession. I thought that it was literally impossible. So instead, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life as a young person. I didn't know what I wanted to become. I had no idea what my calling was. So I just ended up doing all kinds of jobs. I hopped around in my career a lot. I would never stay in one job for a long time. I would oftentimes either resign or I would get fired. And if I wasn't able to keep a job, it would always be because I wasn't really passionate about what I was doing. So in the back of my mind, I still had this belief that my mom had planted in me, where I just thought, okay, there's not even a point of trying, okay? Until I went to study internet marketing. I learned about the power of content, and that's something that I really enjoy doing, and that also has to do with writing. I didn't think about that, okay, I don't have to actually become the stereotype of a writer when you just write a book or become a journalist, but I could actually do something in those lines. And that's when my belief began of, you know what, I can actually write and make a living of it. And that's when I actually started my blog in 2012 called Jet Set Babe. And it grew in later to this big community, this international community of women who enjoy the finer things in life. And even though maybe, that blog wasn't anything special in that sense, it didn't make me rich or anything like that, but it certainly put me on the right journey of where I was supposed to go. And that's the journey where I am right now. That blog grew in to become School of Affluence. It grew in to become the successful business that I now run, and where I became the leader of a niche where women are transforming themselves and enjoy elegance and affluence as a result. So why am I telling you all of this? Well, ladies, because had I had the belief that I can actually get a career with my writing skills and make a good living from it, if I would have known that that would have been possible, I would have started what I do today ages ago. I would have started it much earlier than I actually did. The only reason to why I started in 2012 was because my belief system changed. And the belief system has a direct effect on the choices in life. For me, I decided to not do anything, not even try, because I was wired in that way back then. So what is the secret then? Well, ladies, that gives you the introduction to the big number one, the mindset. The mindset that decides whether you're going to take the action or not. The mindset is actually the one that is behind all of the choices that you make in life. And it's also what fuels you. So I want to ask you, what is your mindset doing for you right now? You know that I myself have gone through a massive transformation. I was not born into a wealthy family. I did not have any help with connections or any fast tracks into this life that I live today. And like I said, I didn't even have anybody guiding me forward, which actually make me lose many, many years in my transformation. If I would have had all the knowledge that I'm teaching today, my gosh, things would have really escalated faster. Officially, my journey did start when I was 19, when I moved to Italy to study Italian. But I actually did have a few transformational moments before that when I upgraded myself already as a teen. And I think that definitely has also been one of the reasons to the teachings of mine today. I've always been very open about how when I was young, I was this really big nerd. I was bullied in school, and I was just not, ever really that popular. Something happened when I was 12. I remember this very clearly because I don't remember which year it was, but it was summer and I was 12 years old. And it was school break, summer break. So I just remember that one day I had enough. That I didn't want to go back to school after summer and go back to the nerd that I was and having people, call me names and laugh at me and things like that. I wanted to kind of reclaim my own power. So I decided to actually upgrade myself and kind of transform myself. I didn't do that much. I mean, what could I do at 12 years old? But I stopped wearing some of those stupid things that my mom used to buy for me. In school, people would dress differently. So I started wearing what the kids in school were wearing because I wanted to also fit in. Then I also started applying makeup and learning a little bit about it, and that of course gave you a big transformation. But I think what really was transformational was the fact that in myself I kind of reclaimed my own power. I put a foot down within myself to be like, you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to tell them to stop from now on because it's not okay. And when I came back to school after that summer, people really did start looking at me differently. And they started also treating me differently. And there was no more bullying anymore. I mean, of course, at some occasions, some people tried, but with my attitude and with the energy that I sent out, they actually, they just backed off. So ladies, why am I telling you all this? Well, it's because I need to be honest with you about one very important thing. Is that whenever I had positive results and a transformation, when my life upgraded and I achieved my goals, it was always for the same reason every time. And the reason was because in that particular situation, my mind told me that I could do it. And I told you already about anything is possible, and I have been really obsessed about that saying for many years. I think even since I was a teenager, because that was my belief. Maybe not in everything, and certainly not all the time, because, I've had my share of insecurities, but always during those times when I had success and achieved my goals. Every time there was the same pattern over and over again. So when I did my research on these high-level women and how they got themselves to where they are today, I realized that actually all of them had different stories, and they also came from very different backgrounds. Some had some really big, big transformations, like truly remarkable rags to riches stories, right? But this is actually what makes me so confident when it comes to my mantra that anything is possible, because it really is on earth. We hear about miracles happening all the time, and we hear about happy endings and inspirational people who just made their dreams happen for any form of reason. But what I think is interesting is that, why do you think their story is different to yours? And do you maybe think that these people who kind of achieved these miracles, were they just lucky? Maybe you are the one who is doomed to be unlucky forever, and therefore cannot even compare yourself to all these people who achieved all these great things, right? The reason why I'm asking you this is because this is the reason to why some never even get started with this transformation. They think it's game over before they have even tried. They don't realize that to even have the chance to have any form of results, you need to actually start and you have to do something. But it's impossible to start unless your mind tells you that you can do it. So, even though your mind is your motor, I'm sure this is not a new concept for you. I'm sure you heard me talk about this millions of times, but why is it so important? Because that's where everything begins. That's where all the fuel comes from to keep you moving forward. That's where your power lays. The power is in your mind. Now forget any disadvantages that you might be having, because we all have our own obstacles and we cannot compare ourselves with other people for that reason. But what we have to do is to put our mind onto how to maneuver around these obstacles on our journey, because it's only your mind that will be able to take you somewhere. And you know what? Your mind is going to be able to take you anywhere you want as a result. So please, when you are embarking on this journey, I want you to really spend a lot of time improving your mindset, strengthening yourself from the inside. Most importantly though, I know for a fact that the biggest goal killer is the false beliefs. And whatever beliefs you might be having about your own capabilities or anything in general, that's what's going to give you the results you want. If you don't think you can do it, you're not going to do it. So, it's up to you. Change your mind, change your life. Secret number 2. I need to talk to you about something that has to do with Coco Chanel. I personally think that her story is quite interesting because today everybody knows who Coco Chanel was, even if she's not alive anymore. I actually think that her story was quite tragic, with her being raised as a child in an orphanage in France. At the age of 12, Coco Chanel's mom died, and her father abandoned her by sending her to a convent in central France. So the nuns from the orphanage taught her how to sew, and that's how she was able to use her skills as a seamstress, which eventually would change her life. Coco Chanel actually ended up leaving the convent when she was 18 and began working as a seamstress and a singer at a bar to make a living. Now, thanks to working in this bar, ladies, she was able to meet a man with whom she later moved in with, and he was actually the person who taught her how to be a lady. He helped her with her transformation, learning how to speak properly and act like a woman of high society. So once she had upgraded herself with the help of this man, she was then able to meet actually another man, who then ended up helping her finance her first ever boutique in Paris. And then the rest is history. One of the main issues that I see with women who just give up or don't even try, those who don't achieve anything, is that they claim that some people are just destined for luck while others are destined for failure. In this particular case with Coco Chanel, I wouldn't call Chanel lucky. I don't think there's anything lucky about being an orphan and growing up without parents. That's not luck. But Coco Chanel did not let her past define her. She didn't let her past stop her from reinventing herself. She did the big transformation. She learned how to become a lady, and she sought out high society. She was clever in that sense because she knew that it was actually all about personal branding. It's how you carry yourself, how you look, how ladylike you are. If you fit in, you're welcomed in the community, and you end up getting different opportunities, and you attract better people. And a lot in your life can change if you just improve the packaging. So let's go back to the stereotype of being the skinny woman and looking like a supermodel. Your looks matter. Definitely, the better you look, the easier things will be. In particular, the better you look, the better you're going to feel. And when you feel better, you end up achieve better things. Like I mentioned before, you don't have to look like a Victoria's Secret model, but you sure need to have a good personal brand, have a strong personal brand that communicates a certain message about you. Let me tell you a story. I once knew this girl who was in her late 30s, and she was a stunning woman with brains on top of it. She also had a great sense of fashion. I would personally say that she looked like a 10 out of 10. Somebody you definitely notice when they enter a room, and they always strike curiosity, those type of people. Now, her personal brand would definitely take her to many places because she was great at first impressions, right? But when you actually start to have a conversation with her, and when you start to spend time with her, you understand that the first impression of a personal brand that she had put together so well, it didn't last very long. She would have not perfected some of those details in her personal brand that actually compromised her entire brand. Because if she positioned herself in a specific type of way, but then acted totally different when you actually started to have a conversation with her. She used to, first of all, be a very negative person, but she used to speak in a very obnoxious way, which was so bizarre because her first impression and kind of her personal brand from afar looked so picture perfect. However, she was a little bit of a mess, and it shined through. And that's when I really realized that in order to have a strong personal brand, you really need to be consistent with your brand, and you really need to perfect it into the details. You need to have continuity in your brand. The reason why this is important is because our personal brand tells a story. And this story confirms whether we are kind of trustworthy or the cup of tea of somebody. So if we want to be part of a certain community, it's of course important to be aligned with that community in terms of your own personal brands. And I'm not saying that you have to now give up your individuality or be somebody you're not. Not at all. Personal branding is about improving what is currently not serving you. because everybody has things that are not serving them in a positive way. I'm not saying you also have to become a picture perfect little doll. I want you to be a real person. But you need to be aware of your brand and align them with the goals that you want to achieve. Let's say you have very big career goals. So what about your personal brand at work? What about your personal brand outside of work? Because that also ties into your work, even if you're not at work. People get a full picture of you based on everything. And if you have consistency, if you are aligned with the message that you try to portray of yourself, then people are going to accept that message. With my research in the affluent community, I did notice as well that women who were more feminine and more elegant, especially if they had that combination, they usually had better success than a woman who was more masculine or somebody who wouldn't be very much into their own personal brand. These women were taken much more seriously, and they were the ones who achieved all those things that we just dream of achieving. Now, how much elegance or femininity you have to add to your own personal brand, that is all up to you. Because how I always say is that we consist of a certain amount of energy. Some have more of a masculine energy, some have more of a feminine energy, some have more of a conservative energy. So depending on your energy levels, you have to figure out how to balance them out. Because the perfect blend is always the one that is a little bit of everything. You don't want to be dominant in masculinity. You don't want to be super conservative. You might not want to be very, very feminine, because that also has its side effects. You want therefore to balance out your energies by adding an energy to help balancing out. I hope that makes sense. So let's say you are somebody who is very conservative by nature. What you have to do is maybe adding some femininity to balance that conservativeness out. The women that I have been researching for years have perfected all of this. And they end up looking so immaculate and picture perfect, not because they wear a bunch of logos or designer clothes head to toe, but what they do is they balance out their energies, they define their brand and what the message they want to tell about themselves. And if they, for instance, come across that, okay, my current personal brand is not serving me. Why is it not serving me? Is there anything that I keep doing subconsciously without noticing, and as a result shooting myself in the foot? That's how you strategize your personal branding strategy in order to achieve success. And let me tell you, personal branding is one of those things that people don't really think about when it comes to improving themselves and their life. Usually people think about branding when it has to do with work. But your personal brand can take you anywhere you want, and you can reinvent yourself any time of your life, any day, whenever you want. Because whenever you feel like, you know what, I've had enough with my old self, I've had enough with this person who clearly, you know, I'm stuck somewhere and this is not benefiting me anymore. You can let go of that person. You can reinvent yourself. You can curate your own personal brand, exactly how you want to become. And then you'll see the success will come. Now, ladies, we have achieved point number 3. The third secret to why some women settle for mediocrity while others don't. As I've gone through this journey myself, I know that there will be many stages that one will encounter on this path. And I don't want to lie to you, but there will be times that this journey is going to feel not very smooth sailing, let's put it this way. And you might even feel stuck from time to time, or feel like you've hit an obstacle, or simply not getting the desired results that you're trying to achieve. You know, I've had female friends that were on the same journey with me, and we kind of were walking the journey of upgrade simultaneously. And sometimes there would be that some of them would just be like, you know what, I give up. Let me throw in the towel. I mean, they didn't say they gave up, because they of course came up with all of these excuses. Maybe the excuse was that they didn't feel pretty enough or good enough, or I don't know, they felt like they weren't in the right place or had enough money. Whatever the reason was, they felt like it justified them quitting. And you know what? Fine. If you want to quit, do that. But you're halfway there. You might as well do it. The truth is that these feelings, everybody has them at some point. And not only once, by the way, you will have them many times, because this is part of the journey. It really, really is. But you know, those women who end up making it are the ones who are really resilient. Those who know how to strategize even when they're completely lost, even when they feel like they've tried everything and nothing seems to be working. They keep strategizing. They keep on going. So point number 3 is all about strategizing, because we spoke about the mindset, we spoke about the personal brand. Both of these two, mindset and personal brand, are essential for this framework to work. But then the third thing that is so incredibly important is the power of correct strategizing. And let me tell you one thing, is that nobody's born with the skills of knowing how to strategize correctly. It's not something we know, it's something we learn. And in particular, we learn this if we are able to stay flexible on this journey. Because obstacles are going to happen and you have to know how to maneuver around them successfully. You're not going to have all the answers beforehand. There will be a lot of things you have to figure out because you will be in a unique situation, and therefore you need to strategize according to your situation. You will also have moments when you will probably fail a few times. And those women who end up progressing further are those who actually end up re-strategizing after failure. And this is the thing, ladies, is what drives me mad is that people still think that it's all about luck, okay? But it's not about luck. It's about doing the strategy. Keep on strategizing. If strategy A didn't work, you do strategy B. And if B didn't work, you do C. Flexibility, resilience to keep on going, the courage to try again. The more you commit to this mission, the higher the chance is that you will at some point succeed. From my experience, the women who fail are always the ones who just give up. So, to answer the question, the secret to why these glamorous women get to live their best life is because they can adapt and they keep strategizing. They don't have any unique access, they don't have any particular advantages. Every human being on this earth comes with advantages and disadvantages. We all might be different, but we all have pluses and minuses. So what these women do is that they take their advantages and disadvantages and they always create a strategy for themselves that work. If they don't know the strategy, they analyze. They sit for hours, they maybe brainstorm with their friends. They find creative ways of how to work around issues. You know, all of us, we have this great power to do this, to accomplish whatever we want. And what I told you today was just a small introduction. In the next videos, in the upcoming videos, we have 3 more. I am going to really go deeper on this, and I really want you to become an expert on this framework so that you can start achieving results. One thing is for sure, ladies, that you are going to get a return on your investment. So I'm therefore very happy that you have stayed with me until the end. I'm also very grateful if you come and join the other workshops, because you are setting yourself up for success then. Now with this video, there is a worksheet that I want you to download, and with this worksheet, you're going to be able to get a little bit of transformation going there, because I am asking you some questions that will plant some seeds in you. Ladies, if you just do this transformation and this work, you are really going to upgrade your lifestyle. You are going to get more access to opportunities that will take you to places where you really want to go. And you deserve this. You deserve to reach your dreams, you deserve to feel beautiful, you deserve to be powerful and confident ladies. In the next video, ladies, I'm going to give you some life-changing tools for how you can elevate your mindset to become a high-value woman. Because as you heard today, the mindset is essential. So we are going to dive even deeper on this subject. Now ladies, before you leave me for today, I would love if you can tell me a little bit about yourself in the comments below. I would also like to know, what was your biggest key takeaway from today's video? If you have found this video helpful in any way, Would you mind sharing it with your friends on social media, or even if it's just leaving a message with the URL to this video to a friend who you feel would maybe need this type of information? Now ladies, thank you so much for watching this video. I know that if you apply what we have talked about today, you will start feeling so much more confident and empowered in yourself, and trust me, it will show on the outside, and people are going to start treating you differently, and you are going to create greater opportunities for you as a result, but it all comes from inside. Now ladies, I will be back on Monday with lesson number 2 in this workshop about how you can upgrade your life in 2021, regardless of how things will play out in the world. So ladies, I am going to see you in that workshop.